So, welcome to the Connecticut General Assembly meeting. Today is October 22nd, 2025. This is Tom Phillips, your co-coordinator. And see, would anyone like to offer up a prayer? Okay, hearing none, I'll go ahead and do my very basic. We ask our Creator to grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can change, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Amen.
Amen. So, welcome to the Connecticut General Assembly meeting. We are standing on our land and soil jurisdiction nation called Connecticut. We are here to restore our birthright government, a Republican form of government, of the people, by the people, and for the people. A government whose primary duty is protecting your individual unalienable rights, freedoms, and property. You and I are stepping forward to voluntarily serve our fellow Connecticuters in pursuit of this ongoing challenge. We are assembled here to focus our time and effort by studying, sharing, organizing this organic body into a coherent working group with committees, affirming for the greater good of all the people of Connecticut's 8 counties. Thank you for stepping forward as a volunteer, reclaimer, and restorer. And since John isn't here, I'm going to go ahead and do the business decision. This meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance at today's meeting who is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency or public agency of the federal, state, county, city, or township agencies present? Is there a response to the business decision for the first time? This meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance at today's meeting who is a member of any agent, a member or agent of any law enforcement agencies or public agencies of the federal, state, county, city, or township agencies present? Is there any response to the business decision for the second time? Anyone who is here under false pretenses, anyone who is working for any government, including the territorial United States municipal states, anyone who is being paid or coerced to be here must fully disclose their presence and purpose now or leave the premises. Subsequently show up as federal witnesses, they are discredited for failure to disclose. All right, so then we'll do our county roll call. So please respond if you're on one of these counties. Fairfield County.
Present.
Litchfield County. Hearing none. Hartford County. Hearing none. Middlesex County.
Here.
Okay. New London County. Hearing none. New Haven County. Here.
Here.
Holland County. Hearing none. And Windham County. Hearing none. Okay, so that brings us to committee reports, and then followed by news and announcements. I don't know that we really have a lot to report from our committees. And any changes with the Finance Committee, Treasury, excuse me?
No, I mean, we did pay out, so I think our balance is pretty low now, and so if anyone would like to donate, that would be, I'm gonna donate some money to our fund. I'm gonna bring it to the bank tomorrow.
Okay. And so that should be sent to you or Cash App, or what's the best way?
I think it's better just send it to me. Cash App, I still don't know how to get the money from the Cash App into the account. I'm like really not so good with that. Because it goes to the debit card, so I don't know how to then make sure, you know. Anyway.
But a check you can deposit, and that would be a problem.
It's so much easier. The bank is not far from me, and I just go and just deposit them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put some extra in the envelope, Linda.
Okay, great.
And Kim, do you have anything to report from the recording secretary side of things?
Just some technical stuff. I went to look up someone who thought they needed some copies of some documents on the LRO, and I couldn't find them in there. So then I often have this trouble where when I'm on the LRO and I want to click to send an email about the issue, I can't click. It's like a task button, and then you click and it
top right corner.
It never stays open for me so that I can scroll to the send an email. It's so frustrating. I'm not using my phone. I'm using my laptop, so it should be so seamless, and it never is. So I went to Tessa. Or wait, what did I do? Oh, I just sent an email to Terry. So
right.
She probably won't answer me, and then I'll just go on Tessa and ask about, why isn't this Nationals account here for me to see? What the hell is going on? So that's that. No new people, but I did do a baby deed for Wynn and what's her name? I forget her name.
Pat, is that right? No.
What is it?
I said Pat, but I was just trying to.
No, I can't think of it right now. Anyway, they did their second baby's deed, which was nice, but that's it. There's all this going on. Oh, and one other technical thing: webmail that connects us to Tessa. I can't get in there. It said to renew the domain, I think, and it gave a button in an email, gave a button to use, but that has an error code 404. So I went through the website and I asked for help with like the web bot texting, and that didn't get very far. They made me jump through hoops that I hadn't the right answers for. So I emailed Elle, and she did help me. She's going to make me the primary with my email address instead of Tom, so that when something like this happens, I can fix it. And then Tom.
Right, it was Tom Neiman, I believe. Is that correct?
Oh, she said Tom Phillips. She said you.
Oh.
I thought that was odd too. But anyway, she's going to make you, Tom, and Anita secondaries so that you can also go in and look at the email if you want. If you if you want to look. But so that's she's going to help me with that.
Well, can I ask what domain? Because we just recently renewed our domain name, but that doesn't have to do with our website, right?
No, this has to do with the way that TASA sends us people who click Connecticut as my home state, and I want to connect with my coordinator.
Mm.
It's a coordinator email, so it's through the
DreamHost.
Yeah, Dream. Yep, and it's directly connected with the AmericanStateNationals.us.
Okay. Yeah, we need to make sure that is working because yeah.
So I'll have to pay whatever fee, and then we can get we can get our mail again. We can access our mail.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know it was expired, and then the button didn't work. So that's my life. That's my technical life. Nothing ever works. Nothing's easy.
Well, at least it's consistent.
Yeah. No other news.
Okay.
Except for, this isn't secretary stuff, but Tom, you'll probably bring it up. The in-person gathering that Rebecca was.
Right.
Yeah.
I was planning on tackling that with new business.
Okay.
Because we do need to vote on that and give her the go-ahead to reserve the time. And then we'll need to send out notice through the newsletter mailing list so that everyone has time to set aside the date.
Right.
I was talking to Anita, and she said that I suggested maybe a separate invite like she did for, was it the last in-person gathering?
Heard State Park? Yep.
Yeah. And you could click if you're coming or not. And
nice.
You can see how many.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah. And if everyone's amenable, I would think that we would try and pull this off at least every second month.
Yeah.
That would work.
Let's see, November, so that would take us into January, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would be past the whole holiday scrum.
Yeah.
That might work pretty well.
Yeah. Yep.
And I can keep the open forum, pre-conference call thing going on. I don't think I need to eliminate it, but I think it's gonna help a lot. Personally, I think there's a good number of people who are a little bit turned off by just meeting, online, and would prefer to meet in person and get a sense of, what we're like. Are we honest? Are we straightforward?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I'll just finish up the committee stuff. So nothing really to report with the Jural Assembly, continuing education, trying to help Kevin with his challenges. And although we did come across some relatively new stuff, I was on the call with Amethyst on Sunday, and she introduced something called the Vulture booklet. And let's see, I can go ahead and share a little bit here, get a sense of what it's about. Go ahead and share. So is everyone seeing oath of office, public servant removal procedure for Americans?
Yep.
Okay, good. So that's essentially what this is about. The Vulture report, the original Vulture report, is a longer document. This is 5 pages here, this one. This is the procedure that you use. But this is all operating within the de facto. Right? And so, from our perspective, you can see some faults to it. but nonetheless, it's very effective. It's used to get rid of people standing in the way, recalcitrant Board of Education people, all kinds of ways used. But it originally came, this attorney in Oregon did it. And so you should be seeing now vultures. Some will deny, some will lie. Right. Anyway, he did this thing approximately 15, 20 years ago. And the lady who was on the call had interviewed him and taken down all this information and kind of updated it. So this is the original document here that he used. And it goes into all the details about how you would get someone removed based on their fraudulent oath of office and all the legal elements to it, all the sightings of USC but this is all based on Oregon here. And so what she did was she kind of revised it into this more modern universal version that can be used in the States. And Kevin now has these, and we'll see if he decides to use them or not. But if you're not having any luck with a silver bullet, this might be a pretty easy go-to, although it does involve, some persistence. You're going to have to appeal, and you're probably going to have to sue. So, definitely not as clean and as easy to follow as the silver bullet, which is really just one size fits all, as long as you're an ASN. But anyway, it's interesting stuff. So with
I did get the certified copies of the oaths of office for all the judges in Waterbury and all the judges in New Britain. And I've made that part of my notices. And then they switched it up. I mean, the one guy I was in front of, he took off, and a new guy came in, so I have to get some more. You do that through the External Affairs Office at the Connecticut Judicial Branch. So I put that on the record, letting them all know, hey, I've got your a certified copy of your oath of office. You violated your oath of office, and just so you know, you think I'm lying, here it is. And we'll see how this progresses. I mean, the average person would be freaking out with the charges like I have, but, going to the Christie and Doug trainings, there's so many people across the country that are dealing with the same exact thing I'm dealing with. And just to hear over and over and over again that there's fraud, they're imposters. And that Vulture booklet, I flipped through all 43 pages earlier, and it's just comforting to see that other people have been dealing with this for years and years and years. It's like nothing's changed. That Vulture booklet dropped a week before 9/11 in 2001, and supposedly it was a big deal back then. It got in the hands of a senator down in Washington, D.C., and supposedly it works pretty damn well, and it's making a rebound now. So I'll definitely be looking into that, but it's so ridiculous what I'm dealing with both of these courts, and it's down the list of my biggest problems too. So I'm thankful to have all the help that I get here with the Connecticut Assembly. I'm thankful for all the help I get from Christie and Doug, because it just puts your mind at ease that it's just bullshit. That's all it is. It's total bullshit. But I wish, my friends would understand that, they, oh, what did you do? What did you do? Type of thing, It's like, I didn't do anything. But I yield. Thanks, Tom, for that.
Yeah, thank you for the update and the perspective. I think you're going to be one of our most powerful assembly members when you get through this ordeal, because you'll have so much experience in the ins and outs of all this, and a valuable resource for all of us to tap into.
Mm-hmm.
we definitely are behind you 100% and keeping your successful outcome in our prayers.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and down the road, I'm here to help out whoever needs the help. Learning a lot. At the end of the day, this is a blessing, as painful as it is. It is a blessing. I yield.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, so I think that does it for our committee reports. And we'll move on to new business, which would be, of course, the proposed meeting at what is it called? The something bridge.
I forgot the name too.
Sorry,
And
drawing
I
a blank.
can't grab my phone to go back to the text though, because I'm using my phone.
Anyway, so I'm
right.
scrolling the email here, and Rebecca had the last part. She said, if you like this idea, I'll go ahead and pay the $50 reservation fee. Linda's in agreement. I think Kimberly agrees, and Tom. The restaurant is waiting for our decision. And let's see, I think her original email had said Sunday, November 16th, 2 to 4 p.m., Stone Bridge Restaurant, 50 Daniel Street, Milford, Connecticut.
There you go.
And she said she spoke to John. He's happy to reserve the solarium room for 20 to 30 people. This is their smallest room. They'll pay a $50 reservation fee and then can be reimbursed. Sunday is the best day. Usually it is a 3-hour time slot, but we reserve 12 to 4, no extra fees. You can set up tables in a U-shaped configuration. We each order individual from the menu, no special menu or decor. All we are doing is reserving a space. This gives a couple of weeks to prepare a presentation if desired. We would need a head count 10 days prior by Wednesday, November 5th. If you like this idea, rather than wait for the next newsletter, I think Kimberly should put out a separate email invitation. Let me know your thoughts. And then in parentheses, if this works out, maybe we should make a suggestion for this to become a regular monthly or bi-monthly occurrence at this location. Something to think about and maybe vote. So that's why I'm bringing it up here, of course, because, we should, oh, yeah, I see Kim's got her thumbs up. Good.
Yeah, all right. I'll put mine up on the screen.
Yeah. But anyway, so I guess we should make it official, and that is, do I have a motion to reimburse Rebecca the $50
Yes.
for the reservation of the Stone Bridge restaurant on November, what did I just say, 17th?
16th.
16th.
Yeah.
Yes, 16th. Yes.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then all those in favor, let's go ahead and raise our hands. I see Linda's hand is up. My hand is up. Kevin's hand is up, and so is Kim. So the motion passes. We're all set there.
Mm-hmm.
And do we have enough money in the Treasury to do the $50, or do we? Are we?
No, I mean, so I was waiting for the next statement. But I had a feeling that the balance is pretty low. But I'm going to go dump some money in there tomorrow.
Okay.
So we will, yeah. Because first of all, if she's going to pay for it, then I'm not going to reimburse her like tomorrow. But
right, it won't be instantaneous. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get the money in there.
And then, so the only other question is, I really like the idea of sending it out the way it was sent out for the Herd Park, where you get a tally by people responding. I think that would be awesome to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
But the question is, should we do more outreach? Should we try and get more people to come? And should we try and do any kind of presentation? That's kind of the question that remains for us. And I don't think we have to decide that tonight necessarily, but I certainly entertain anyone's ideas on that.
I think, we don't need to run like a meeting per se. It should be, a gathering, a social, but we should, cover a little.
What if we went over some of our materials?
Yeah, we could do that.
Just pass them out, and if there's new people, and just kind of.
Well,
and then
I
have
think
a Q&A.
I think it's kind of important that we have a recording secretary there. I know that Jim Rogers is interested in having help with some paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we should probably bring some of our outreach material with us, and Q&A might be good. A testimonial might be good if someone would like to give their story. That might be good.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to do a formal presentation, though.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But we definitely need to, encourage people to get involved and participate. And we could explain to them, we could ask it and say, we don't know to what extent you're engaged with the materials, and we can ask them, are they familiar with what's going on with the silver bullet and whatever, and just kind of inform them that there's stuff happening, and touch base with whether they're reading articles, attending any of the video things that are going on.
So maybe just a little bit of a presentation, exciting updates. Like what's going on with banking, and what's going on with the silver bullet, and stuff like that. You think?
Yeah, and then reiterating what which, I mean, it's on the website, but like what things there are to tap into. In other words, the Lisa Schaefer's. We have this. We have just kind of reviewing. Because we don't know who's coming, but some of the people who might come, we don't know how engaged they are, is what I'm saying. And so we could just, not like scolding or anything, but we could just encourage, like, just want to make sure that there's this on that day and blah, blah, blah. And if you go to Rumble, you can catch things on the replay.
Yeah.
If you can't attend it live, just kind of an FYI stuff to get them up to speed to
the education that's available.
Yeah, definitely the Doug and Christie, because mostly people don't end up going there until they have some issue.
Mm-hmm.
But it might be just encouraging to say, you might want to, go on these calls. You don't have to go on all of them, but just to see what's happening. So you have, at least a couple of the Mondays just to get the beginner, so what kind of work, what kind of tools we have when you have issues, if you have issues.
Yeah, plugging into the nationwide, I think, is huge because so many good people. I mean, Lisa Schaefer and the woman on California.
Michelle Ford.
Michelle Ford. Just everybody needs and just getting that well-rounded exposure to all of the information and.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
And
you can easily look at our ragtag little group and go, these guys ain't going anywhere. But you find out that there's coordinators in Ireland and England and South Africa, in New Zealand and Australia, and they're building a place. That changes the tone a little bit.
Totally does.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to generate a little bit awareness of, the scope of what is going on, even though our state is, a little lagging here, but get them excited to see what is going on and this is where we want to go. We want to be like Ohio. We want to get it fully standing. We want the courts up. So I don't know, it's just kind of get them a little bit excited and encouraged maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
To just tap in. And
it encourages me, that's for sure.
Me too, I mean,
it's very, and it's very easy to lose perspective. I mean, especially when you talk to the average person and you say, well, you shouldn't owe any taxes. The typical response that I get, I don't know what you guys get, is, well, how are we going to pay for roads or anything like that?
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
And so just to become aware that there are actually these enormous trust funds that have been socked away.
What about the slush
denied
fund?
access to, that not only have supposedly funded all government activities since 1942, but, you are the factual owners of all the assets in your state,
Yeah.
Anyway, right, I digress.
Same thing, Tom. We all get that. Well, who's going to pay for that? I come up with the greatest answer to that. It works every time.
Yeah.
Just say the Rothschilds, and then they say, well, who's that?
Yeah.
I like that, Kevin, because it's hard. It when someone has what they think is a simple question or a simple statement like that, if I don't pay my taxes, such conditioning.
Yeah.
And it's where do I begin? But I like that. I like what you. Who's going to pay for it? The Rothschilds. Oh, who's that? I love that. It's great.
Works every time. How we doing, John?
Hey, John.
Great. I'm sorry I'm late.
It's okay.
No worries, John. So we did vote on the in-people meeting for the Stonebridge restaurant on November 16th at 50 Daniel Street in Milford, Connecticut. And I think that we left it, we're going to give Rebecca the go-ahead to make the reservation.
Yep.
And we were just talking about things we could do, outreach to get people there, and welcome your thoughts on that.
I'm sorry, could you repeat where it was and the date, please?
Yeah, so it was in the email. I can forward it to you. Sunday, 11/16/2025, 2 to 4 p.m. at the Stonebridge Restaurant at 50 Daniel Street, Milford, Connecticut. I'll go ahead and read through the email so you get the sense of it all. So Linda and I have researched the Stonebridge Restaurant in Milford, Connecticut for an in-person, to be in people, live meeting for the above date. Spoke to John. He is happy to reserve the solarium room for 20 to 30 people. This is their smallest room. I will pay the $50 reservation fee and then can be reimbursed. 11/16/25 is best day. Usually it is a 3-hour time slot, but we reserved for 12 to 4, no extra fees. And he said he can set up tables into a U-shaped configuration, which would we would each order individually from the menu, no special menu or decor. All we are doing is reserving a space. This gives a couple of weeks to prepare a presentation if desired. We would need a head count 10 days prior by Wednesday, 11 5 or November 5th. If you like this idea, rather than wait for the next newsletter, I think Kimberly should put out a separate email invitation. Let me know your thoughts. And if this works out, maybe we make a suggestion for this to become a regular monthly or bi-monthly occurrence at this location. Something to think about, and maybe vote, ? And so, as previously, when we had the Heard State Park invitation, Anita was able to set it up so that when you got the invitation, you could click, and it would give a head count for her. We would know who's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that's kind of where we left it at that. We voted that, so we're going to go ahead and go forward with it. And so we're just discussing how we could get more people there and what kinds of things we should do. And I think it's generally agreed that we would do some kind of a review of resources and recent exciting developments. They're, like a one-page deal that talked a bit about the bank, a bit about the silver bullet, a bit about, anything else we think is important, and where to find the resources, Anna's articles and TASA and that kind of stuff. Anyway, that was the general idea. Did you have any thoughts, John?
Yeah, sounds great to me. I'm all for it. I was invited to attend a outreach sort of a workshop that they do every month, and I missed the one this week. But she gave me the invitation so I can get into those meetings, and it's from people that do outreach all over the country, all the different assemblies, and trying to get some new ideas of how we can successfully do some more outreach.
Excellent.
I think that's where our major sticking point is, because we are a small assembly,
Mm-hmm.
but we need to get our butts in gear and get our courts up. I've even had thoughts of maybe, I don't know how everybody else will feel about it, but we have members who have recently left that aren't really very active, but I'm wondering if they could be coerced to at least volunteer to be jury members, so that we can get a jury, an actual jury assembly.
Forum, yeah.
And at least try to get our court standing, and start working toward that. Being at some of the meetings and calls that I've been on in the last couple of months, I've noticed we are very far behind a lot of assemblies. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of them are really, some of the militias that they have and the type of things that they have going on are it's so impressive. But it leaves me standing there with my jaw on the ground, seeing how far behind we are everybody else. Wow. Obviously, we can't do a whole lot with the numbers we have, but getting what we need to get for outreach, to get more members and more people involved, I think more and more people will become receptive to it. But we have to find a more tactful way of reaching out and getting people to see the light.
Yeah.
I don't know what
you had your hand up.
Thoughts are.
Kim, you had your hand up.
So just piggybacking off of Sean's comments, I'm just jotting down some thoughts that come to mind. And what I'm thinking is maybe we could start with people we have in corrected status position, I guess. Since I can look at TASA, which has changed, by the way. They changed it a little bit. It's kind of frustrating because I can't scroll through everyone on Connecticut. I have to search for a name. I don't like it. That's BS. So I don't know if I think there's a secretary meeting coming up soon, so I'm going to try and get on it and say what's going on. But maybe we can do some kind of direct mail. Clearly emails are, maybe we can do something on our email too, like cast a net and say, maybe have a questionnaire, or like what is it that you would need to see from your assembly to get involved? Like, what is it that you're waiting for? Like, why aren't you here? Where are you all? We need a jural assembly. We need 12 of 135 people to say, yes, if there's an issue, I'll be on a jury. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Without the snarky part, the snarky tone. That's just my way of being funny. I know it's distasteful for some people. But no, I'm just thinking, do I direct call? Do we get all of us to like have a little skit and do a direct call? I am open to any ideas, and those were the ones that came out of my brain just now.
Excellent. Kevin, you have your hand up?
Yes, I just have a few comments. The whole outreach thing is so important for us, but we know how hard it is. I'm so glad I popped into the Brooklyn Fair to see firsthand how that all works, dealing with strangers. I know how hard it is to convince family and friends to do this. How am I going to convince a total stranger, But I was thinking, you threw out the name Gary Mead, Tom, was it last week?
In Connecticut, yes.
And then when I don't know who that was, but then when I was on the Sunday meeting with Christy and Doug on Sunday, everybody knew who he was. They were like, Gary, welcome back. And he's like, I just got back to Connecticut. And I'm like, wow, I don't even know who this guy is, but it seems like he might know a lot of people. And we need somebody like that to get back here and maybe bring us 10 people or something. Your thoughts on that, Gary?
Well, Gary is the original coordinator for Connecticut, and he's super knowledgeable and, has been at it longer than most of us. He went to New Hampshire and was up there for a while working with that assembly, and then he moved to his brother's place in Pennsylvania, and he was with that assembly for a little while, but none of those fit very well for him, and he's back. And what he was also doing was he was going through the training to become a Continental Marshal.
Right.
And I'm probably not well versed enough to give you the full rundown, but I don't think he completed that. I'm not sure, exactly where that's at now. But he did volunteer to help you, John, with the PTKF liaison position. And so I think we should take him up on that.
Absolutely. If I remember right, once he moved back to Connecticut, doesn't he have to be back for a year before he can be?
That's to vote on the assembly. That's to vote on the assembly. He can participate in anything that's going on here. He just can't vote for a year.
Okay.
Can he hold a position as the liaison?
I don't think it's. I could be wrong, but it seems to me that is not that's a general position as opposed to a specific elected official.
Right.
So I don't see any obstacles with that, but I could be wrong. I certainly don't claim to have omniscience about it. You know.
I was given permission by Joseph Hayes to they have like their own online thing, but it's just open just to people that are in the PTKF, the PKTF, I should say, where I can go on and I can look and see what's going on from state to state. I mean, I can't get involved in any of it, but at least they're allowing me to do it so I can keep our state up to speed on what's happening. I just got that permission from Joe yesterday, as a matter of fact. So when I start going in there and I can start looking at some of the stuff that's there, it kind of keep us abreast of what's happening. But they're starting to go. A lot of states are starting to contact their counterparts in the de facto and letting them know what's happening and that they're going to be taking over and things are going to change for them. And so the sooner we get our, we really need to get our courts up where we can have a fighting chance against the de facto and get them to go back into their box. Like I said, a lot of states are already doing it and they're already having making progress. Just to let you know, because like I said, a lot of these calls that I've been on has just opened my eyes to the fact that we're way behind a lot of other assemblies.
Mm. Well, we kind of knew that, but we probably didn't know the extent.
Right, it's a lot more than I initially thought.
Mm.
But we have to, we have over 130 members, Kimberly, that have changed status. Okay, so out of that 130, we should send out, maybe we should send out emails asking if they participate, would mind participating as Juror members.
Yeah.
And once we get them started with that, maybe we can get some other people to volunteer to fill some of the positions we need to have.
So it's interesting that you should say that. I was already made a note for the next newsletter that my thought was, and maybe we can come up with it now, I don't know, but a list of what our assembly needs, like even maybe prioritized, like number 1, juror members, volunteers, and then send a list out in the next newsletter, or it can be separate. It could be a call to duty, whatever. We can send an email more than once a month if we want. It's like a special request. We can put something like that together, and it's funny that you should be saying
and
that.
I think it should also include not just a juror member, but you could be a talesman. That is someone that we bring in who's qualified, but has not, maybe done as much formal training.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think the more options that we give and the more education we give, that might be the most helpful approach. But really the main obstacle to setting up our court is to have the appropriate officers in place.
Right.
You have to have a justice, you have to have a clerk, you have to have a recorder, you have to have a
bondsman, or whatever.
Bondsman, yeah.
You have to have an ombudsman.
You probably have to have a sheriff or some equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
So
that could be difficult on the fact that a sheriff only has the power in his own county. We have 8 counties, which means we'd have to have 8 sheriffs because you can't have a state sheriff. He wouldn't have any jurisdiction in whatever county he didn't live in.
Wouldn't it be important? Oh, I'm sorry.
There might be a way around through the Continental Marshal route. I don't know. Obviously, they wouldn't stand above a sheriff, but they might be able to exercise the same function for us. Anyway, I'm speculating. Gary would probably know more.
If I may, Ohio, I listened to the podcast of Ohio's at least got 2 on unincorporated sheriffs on the land, and they talk every week. Andrew Ike, whatever his name is. I have it in the newsletters link tree is their show, and they are two on their counties. So I think it was Anna that said at least get a sheriff on your capital county because of the power that they have to get rid of, potentially the governor, etc. So that's the head of snake. If you don't have anything else, get a sheriff elected in Hartford County.
Can also do with the coroner.
What?
A coroner can also get rid of the governor.
I know that Angela had volunteered to be the coroner.
Yeah.
And I believe I forget if she was elected to that position or not.
I was going to say I can't remember. I think so.
Pretty sure she was, but
yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Well, so maybe I could formulate a list of the positions with a brief definition and if it's elected or volunteered.
Right.
God help me.
Because we can't really do much for the de facto, for us to do the silver bullet for the de facto until we have our court system up where we have a little power behind us. Where we have.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily the case, John.
Really?
Yeah, because the silver bullet in of itself, may not have full standing, but we can do a court of record with just a justice and a recorder and two citizens. We can do a court of record with very little. And Anna has talked a little bit about it, but she has not given full details. But with a court of record, you basically are locking in essentially what the silver bullet is doing is making questions that they cannot rebut. And when you do the court of record, you're locking those in. You're putting them on the public record. And at that point, their fate is sealed. But anyway, I don't claim to know a lot about these things. I probably know enough to be dangerous.
Okay, I'll stand behind you. I'll stand behind you and root you on.
Kevin, do you still have your hand up, or was that a new hand up?
It's still up. You know me, I probably have 10,000 questions, but I'm only going to ask 500 tonight. Postal Code 0. Can you bring Kim and John up to speed on Postal Code 0?
Sure. So one of the things that Kevin had been pressing me to find out was if we could somehow hire or get the Ohio Common Law Court to do make a judgment in Connecticut. And I was not having any luck through email, but I managed to pose the question on the previous, not last week's, but the previous week's American Some Assembly Required, where Lisa Schaefer was hosting. And she saw the question and she answered it. And what she said was quite interesting. I expected her to say, well, you can only, a court only has jurisdiction in their state. But what she said was that the courts have jurisdiction within their postal district. So Ohio has the postal district that starts with a 4. And she said that Ohio could do decisions that went wherever there were other, similar postal designation. jurisdiction, well, area, I should say. Anyway, so that would be Michigan, all through Ohio, and then down into, I believe it's Kentucky. I could be wrong about that. Anyway, and so the consequences of that for us are that we're in postal area 0, and that means that if there were a court standing in any of the other 0 states, that would be Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and I believe it's Rhode Island. I think I'm right about that.
Yep, and it also includes New Jersey, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. They have a huge assembly. They got 700 members down the Virgin Islands. They got so many members they don't know what to do with themselves.
Are you serious?
No, I'm kidding.
I was going to say, wow, what a hotbed.
We used to have weekly calls with the. We used to have weekly calls with the postal area 0, but that was back a couple of years ago, and that they kind of fell by the wayside. And they were helpful because all of the states were able to chit chat with one another.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know, I believe Maine has, I think they have their court standing now. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure they were getting close to it back then. So maybe Maine has their courts up and running.
Right. Anyway, that was a very interesting answer, and that's what Kevin wanted everyone to know. So yeah, keep your ears to the ground about that. And
yeah, I think it's worth maybe when I'm on Christy and Doug's meetings. I mean, every once in a while there's 1 or 2 from Mass, 1 or 2 from Jersey, not a whole lot that I could tell from postal code 0, but there's a little here, a little there. Maybe it's worth, because there's 5 of us here. You know, this is about what we're getting every time, so we need the numbers. Maybe somehow we could join forces with them. You add it all up. Maybe we got something if we add it all up. But I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to get in touch with anybody.
If I may, you can go on the TASA website, any of us can, and click the state, and you should be able to email a coordinator.
right.
Yep.
But
Maybe we could call a meeting or something.
But as John was pointing out earlier, it's kind of hard to know what's going on the ground unless you're in on these meetings where they cross the borders and you get the inside skinny, on what's going on. So very neat may be our opening to that.
Yeah. One other suggestion I had for the outreach, just to throw it out there, is the only social media that I'm on is Twitter. And they have all the algorithms, like they know where you are just by the location of your phone and everything. No clue how much it costs, but is it worth us doing some type of advertisement?
What?
An advertisement through Twitter. And it would need to just hit the Connecticut people based on them being, on Connecticut. I'm sure the algorithms they have are unbelievable to hone in on your.
Yeah.
I have no clue how that works, what it would cost, but have we ever thought about doing something like that? Just an advertisement from. Well, first of all, does the Connecticut Assembly have a Twitter page?
No. We used to have didn't we used to have presence on, was it Facebook or some other, didn't we have on some social media? We did have a Telegram page, but that was just for us to communicate.
I think Isabel had one on Facebook at one time as well.
Yeah, I thought so.
I was seeing advertisements on my Twitter not too long ago for Connecticut Freemasonry.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, that's being pushed all over the country, though. That's showing up for every state.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sounds like a scam to me.
Well, their lodges are everywhere. If you travel around, you'll see that little square and compass on the side of the road. You know, hey, lodge down the street.
There's a lot of them in Connecticut.
This is going to blow your mind. I'll show it to you the next meeting. I've got it in a drawer in my bedroom that I was given when my niece was going to join the Navy. I went with her to the recruiter, and of course I was helping her talk to the recruiter to find out what kind of things that she could qualify for. And the guy actually handed me. You ever see those big coins? They're like this big around, and they're really thick, but they have the U.S. Navy with the logo on the front. If you take that coin and you flip it over, there's a Mason. The Mason symbol is on the back.
Really?
Yeah, it really blew my mind. I was just totally amazed by that.
Well, yeah, the Freemasons, it was all the whatever, didn't they control everything?
Yeah, pretty much.
Everything. All these judges and police chiefs.
Yeah.
All Freemasons.
Yeah, even if you look at there's the state police that you get those little things they put on the back of the car, so they let the cops know that they've made donations.
Oh yeah.
It's actually a Masonic symbol.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you see one, you'll notice it.
Yeah. See them all the time.
That stuff is everywhere now. You see it everywhere.
Yeah.
In all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Well, I honestly think that the Freemasons are pretty much like all the other arms of the de facto. It's mostly people that don't really understand what's going on, who are just following the cow in front of them and, doing the job that they were shown how to do it and don't really have a clue how it could be affecting the big picture.
Right, because the negative part of it is all up in the upper levels. It's all like 33 degree and higher, and they're pretty evil. Some of the things they do are very evil.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I did hear one of the calls that I talked to, that lady that I got involved with the outreach. She actually lived in Connecticut, and when she was on the call with Nitty, I happened to notice she talked about being in a coastal town where her father was in the military and growing up in a beach community, and it clicked with me right away. I said, well, okay, I know where that is. So I emailed her because her email was in the description, and I said, I'm from that area. Did you grow up in the Mystic Groton area? And she says, yes. She actually lived in Groton Long Point, and now she's in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Well, when I started talking to her, I said, listen, we're at Connecticut, we're a real small assembly. We're trying to get our everything up and running. It's hard. We really need outreach. We need to get more people. And I'm looking for ways, and we're banging our head against the wall trying to figure out different ways. And she very graciously invited me to come to these calls where they run all these different ideas. Well, one of the ideas that she had was her and her husband were talking, and they owned a camper, a good-sized camper. It's a 4-wheel drive thing, and her husband gave her the okay to take this camper and go get it wrapped. So they wrapped it in State National colors and stuff. They put all kinds of advertising on it. And what they did was every weekend they'd go to a different town, and they'd go to the town greens, and they'd drive up, and they'd have the flags and the whole 9 yards, and people would come up and they'd talk. And what a great idea. It's something that, I wish we could do. Obviously it takes money and time.
Yeah.
But it was a different idea. It's something I never would have thought of. But like I said, she was gracious and said, you're more than welcome to come to our calls, and because it's a workshop, all these different people coming up with ideas for outreach. And I think at this point we need all the help we can get.
Yeah.
That does sound like a great idea there. I'm wondering if Lisa Schaefer or anybody from Ohio has shared how they were able to get people. Is there like some aha moment that happened in Ohio that they exploded from maybe 50 to like 200 people and then off to the races, something like that? I yield.
I remember her just saying the one thing about that. She said that when they got about, it was interesting because we're almost there. She said when we got about 140, 50, 60 people, it seemed to be the tipping point, and then they got the involvement. They didn't have to struggle. I think Connecticut is unique. It's always been kind of, pardon the word, retarded, but it is. We're always behind on everything.
It's because of all the
I
liberals
think,
that live
I
here.
think you also have to understand. I think you also have to understand that the Ohio character is not the Connecticut character.
Right.
The Connecticut character, for the most part, is a commie-crat, a Democrat, and they're buying into all this propaganda that's been foisted down their throats. In Ohio, they're used to lifting themselves up by their bootstraps, and they're very inventive and creative people. Some of the most successful businesses in the country come from Ohio. So I don't know if that's a 100% valid comparison, but in answer to your question, Kevin, what she did say is that before they became fully standing, about a year before, they were having all kinds of problems. Mm-hmm. And she didn't elaborate on what the problems were. But basically, they did what they did with about 350 people. And she's currently saying that they have active in their 31 committees some 70 people who are regular attendees. Now, there's probably plenty of other peripheral people who occasionally show up, but between the 30 committees, 70 people, and many of them overlap into multiple committees. And that, once people, what she was doing as a coordinator was she was seeing the people coming in and noting who is skillful at what, and trying to plug them into the various committees where they could be successful, where they could actually have an impact. But I'll say it multiple times, outreach is the one thing you just have to keep on doing and doing and doing and doing. You can't ever stop doing outreach. Anyway.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I have some ideas, again, going out to the Brooklyn Fair. Very important to see that, to see how it works out. It's like the first time, and that's not easy stuff, There was a couple of people that seemed genuinely interested, and you're like, finally, like, yes, and then the kid is tugging on the leg of the parent, like, hey, I want to go ride the ride and see the animals, and it's tough. It's tough to do, even when you have someone that's interested. There's always something there to distract them or pull them away. But again, I struggle just with the old family and friends, so it's tough, but it has to be done. 5 people's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it even at all. Very important. Now, I've been brainstorming some ideas, but driving around with like some type of camper with a wrap on it, setting up shop at the mall like during the Christmas shopping season when everybody's out. I don't know, giving T-shirts away or something to get somebody's interest,
Yeah, we could always just make up some flyers and go hand them out at the mall. Or places that allow us to do it. I mean, some places don't allow you to post bills or anything, but if we can find some kind of place to hand out one-page documents.
Yeah.
Make up some cards and just hand them out.
Yeah, I thought about going to like a college campus, like the one guy there, Crowder, he puts the microphone on the table and says, you're a slave, prove me wrong. You know what I'm talking about? But
yeah.
your target audience at the college campus isn't going to be old enough. So I kind of nixed that one.
You probably have to get you some bulletproof shielding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other problem with most college campuses is a lot of people are going to be from out of state.
Oh yeah, that too.
Maybe at a local community college, less so. But
good point. Good point.
anyway,
At that age, they're just into, their studies and having fun. I mean, you might find some people who are keyed into, like they know something's wrong and they're, I don't know.
If you're moved to find somewhere to do that, hand them out. You can. It could be the grocery store. I don't know. You can.
I mean, I was thinking one day, I was on the Doug and Stacy call or something, and there was some guy, and he said something about putting flyers in the mailboxes on, I don't know if it was his own street or something like that. He didn't, I don't know if he said he was going to do that or he was thinking to do that. He didn't, hadn't done it, and so wasn't reporting, how successful. But I thought, well, that could be interesting, actually, in a way. You put flyers in the mailbox, but maybe you have an invite on there. If you want to know more, you organize, a gathering maybe at your home. And these are your neighbors, so, you feel safe enough to do that. And so on the flyer, it tells a little bit about, what it is. And then there's an invite. If this is interesting to you and you'd like to know more, you can come, whenever you set it up. And then you can be prepared, maybe two of us, to then meet the people and explain things and see if there's the interest.
Mm-hmm.
So that when I heard him say that, I was like, that isn't a bad idea, actually. So not just randomly sticking flyers because then they're going to, or just throw it out or think it's junk mail, but it's coming from you. They may know, they you have to, put your name on it in a sense, and they'll be like, oh, this is my neighbor. I wonder what that's about.
well, I think another key might be to think back to your own example of what it was that clued you in that something was wrong, and that what path did you take of discovery to start you on this path, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, part of the problem, I'm not saying we shouldn't, but part of the problem with any kind of mass mailing or advertising on Twitter or any of those things is, in general, it's well known that those are very low success rate things.
Yeah, I agree.
The junk mail route supposedly works about 1% of the time, mm-hmm. and that's why they send so much of it out. But excuse me. If you think about how you got first started, what was it that triggered your, what event happened, and you might have a clue about where similar people might be having a similar kind of quandary, and where they might be at a crossroads to ask the questions.
Yeah. I mean, I was at a freedom potluck. This was COVID times. And there's a woman there. She just said something like, are you an American? Or so, I forgot what she said, and I said, yeah. She goes, are you sure? I said, yes. She goes, let me see your driver's license. And then I pulled it out of my wallet, and she goes, you see your name in all caps, letters? I said, yeah. She goes, that's a corporation. That's an, that's how she started to lay it out. And it like resonated very quickly with me, and she did give me a flyer, like a trifold thing with information. And when I went home, I was so fired up over this that I, did a little bit of research. And then through the people we were there at these potlucks we used to do, we invited her to a potluck to speak to everybody. And there was a large group of us, and that's how it happened. That was with Isabel, me. That was us at the time. So that was all of us at that one time. I'd say was the core group in a way. But see, it was very prime timing. We were, and like, look at the group we were. We were like at a freedom potluck. What does that say? They were still technically in like sort of lockdown, and we were like, we're not doing this. And we found out through different channels that people were doing these things. So clearly you have a group of people who are already not like, following the pack, so to speak. So that's how you have to find the people who are receptive, is because they're the ones who aren't wearing the masks and who aren't, who are questioning. And I think I've always known my whole life that the system is screwed up. I didn't know how to define it, but clearly I knew that it was all messed up. And, we knew that it was a uniparty, and this is all nonsense. Nothing ever gets done. No one, you know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people today do not. They don't have faith in government, even more so now. So there should be very receptive people, out there. So I don't know. But again, if we keep it close to home, you have some sense of relevance, because these people kind of know you. You live on the street. And even if you can gather like 5 people and have them come over for like, some little cheese and crackers and whatnot, and you can discuss this, and I don't know. There might be a way to do this on a small scale outreach instead of, thinking of a large venue. Like, I think that was good too. The thing that, Angela had, orchestrated.
Right.
Yeah, I unfortunately, I wish I would have been there for that, but I don't know. I was just trying to think if we could do it in like a little bit smaller, might be easier in a sense, and you might capture a few people that way. I don't know.
Well, for instance, if anyone here was a subscriber to the Highwire,
yeah, I am,
and they knew how to contact other Highwire subscribers in Connecticut, that might be a fairly easy in to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That would just be one example, but you could also consider, other Twitter or Facebook groups that are around health freedom or patriot freedom or similar kinds of things, and that you try and find out who is in Connecticut, and then you'd reach out specifically to those people, because you think that there's a high likelihood that they would already be receptive to new ideas.
Yeah, good point.
Because ultimately, we don't want just anyone. We want people who are ready and are motivated and want to do something about it.
Yeah, there you go. That's the key, right?
Right.
I thought about that the other day. Like, if we had 100 new sign-ups, but nobody that's willing to actively participate, we've gained nothing.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say we gained nothing, but the point is that you're right. It's going to be frustrating. Anyway, so you start to see my point and Anna has kind of warned about this. We don't want people who are motivated by the bank, because they're just going to come in, take whatever money they think they need, and ignore everything else.
Right. No, I was thinking, like, if anyone, we're older, we don't have little kids, but someone knew like of a homeschool pod, as they call them, a group of people who are homeschooling and they do it like communally. Those are the people. If you can somehow tap a homeschool pod, those are the right people, because look, they're already doing it. They're educating their own children because, right?
Yep.
Yes, definitely.
There were some people who joined the assembly at the same time that me and Isabel, and there was a very active time with these. We were having a lot of these kind of potluck-like things, and there was in fact some people there. A lot of people were homeschooling, because of COVID, because they weren't going to send their kids to school and put them in masks and all that nonsense. But so that's the people, the people who are already like growing their own food and,
I thought the attendees at the Brooklyn Fair, where you're dealing with farmers, country people that can't stand the government, that that's just like your perfect target audience. Like the homeschoolers is a good point.
Yeah, exactly. And then, it was no fruitful. And, I was so blown away because there was that guy with the kids.
The one that moved to Woodstock.
Yeah, who bought land, and he was homesteading it, and then the whole, and we were telling about the baby deeds, and he was very receptive, and I'm like, you mean he did not follow up? I was shocked. I mean, he was your prime, that was the guy, like,
Nope, I sent out emails and text messages that following Tuesday after everything was done.
Yeah, exactly. So that was very discouraging, because I thought for sure this guy, this is, at least we were going to get this guy and his family. Unbelievable. Anyway, you got to keep trying, but,
That's right. Anyway, it's getting kind of late, but appreciate all the brainstorming, and we'll see what we can come up with.
Yeah.
And don't forget to invite someone to November 16th in Milford.
Oh, right. It's public. You can invite people, right?
Right.
Yeah,
so we should all try and invite at least one or two people.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think of that. I thought it was just for us to get together, but no, we should introduce somebody.
Right.
All right.
All right, guys. I hope you all have a good night.
You too.
I should have closed the meeting, but do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, excellent. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye.